On this episode of Over the Hump, we are excited to chat about ways in which the Campbell men's basketball program is taking positive initiatives to not only help their community, but create some change in this country. I'm Evan Budrovich here discussing with one of the assistant coaches, Kenneth White, who is spearheading these efforts for the program and really creating some positive change in our country and also for these kids overall. So, Kenneth, let's dive right in and talk about voting specifically, because that's a huge issue in our country, especially this upcoming year. How important is it for your program to have these kids not only registered to vote, but active in the community, voting and trying to be engaged with their politics?
Well, I think it's huge. I think when you look back in the history of how things have happened in this country, that people that died in order for people to vote, and we talk about voting with our guys. We don't ever tell them which way to vote, obviously, but we talk about the importance of getting out and voting because you can't complain about what's going on if you don't exercise your right to vote. And so we think that's important coming up on November the 3rd to get out and vote. We thought there would be a little bit more, would take a little bit more planning for some of our guys because they're not residents of North Carolina. So they would have to register to vote in their home state. So we wanted to be proactive with that and make sure that they had everything that they needed in line in order to be able to do so. And we're proud to say that we're at 100% right now. So on November 3rd, we're actually going to have an off day as far as no practice or games, obviously, across the entire conference of the Big South. And we're going to exercise our right to vote.
That's fantastic news, Kenneth, especially in an election year like this. You really appreciate the wisdom in that part. I am curious as well, especially with a lot of social issues going on in this country, both racial and otherwise, kind of the involvement your players have had communicating with your staff about maybe where they see things they want to talk about or just have those discussions as a group.
Well, I think, everything that's been going on, again, we have a very intelligent group of guys, and they're very aware of everything that's going on. For us as coaches, it's up to us to be able to, number one, listen to what their concerns are and help them create a platform for voicing their concerns. I think, for our guys, they're very aware of not just being a basketball player or lumped into that category only. Again, that's just what they do. That's not who they are as people. They have feelings just like the normal person walking down the street. And so I think it's important for them to help everybody kind of understand that and using their platform in order to affect change and voice their concerns as well. I think, unfortunately, in the world that we're living in right now, there are some people that are making it a police versus the Black race issue. And it's not that at all. It's a right or wrong issue. Either what you see, you feel like it's right, or what you see that you feel like is wrong. And so it's a right or wrong issue. It's a civil rights issue, but it's also a human rights issue. It'd be just like you and I, Evan, if we were friends growing up, and there was a kid that was, kind of being a bully and taking your lunch money every day, and I was a good friend of yours, and I stood by and let it happen, and I had the ability to be able to talk to the guy and tell him to knock it off, and I never did that, then you wouldn't think I would be a very good friend. And so that's all it's about community, taking care of each other. Our guys are extremely close. I think, the great thing about sports is it brings people from all different backgrounds and cultures together for the common goal of trying to win a championship or what have you. And, you get the chance to interact with people that may have been raised differently than you. And not right or wrong, just may have been raised differently than you. And I think sports kind of allows you to, kind of talk to those individuals about their background and to help you kind of understand where they're coming from. And whereas in a normal world, you may not even have those interactions with that person if it weren't for the game of basketball or football or soccer or what have you. So I think that's the beautiful thing about sports, and I think the world can learn a lot more from just athletic teams in that regard.
What's neat about your team's efforts as well, Coach, not only players from Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, things like that, but plenty of new foreign players from overseas, not only freshmen and sophomores, but younger kids. So I am curious, me being a white man and you being a black man, we have a different upbringing. How proud are you of your team, especially with the diversity on that group, to come to you guys and say, hey, we have a voice and we want to push forward towards these efforts of voting and being engaged and just being overall better citizens?
Right. I think, when we recruit these guys, like we always tell them, like, with the way that we play from a basketball standpoint, we're not going to put you in a box, right? We want you to be able to dribble it, pass, and shoot it. We need all our guys to be able to dribble it, pass, and shoot it. So we're going to challenge you each and every day to be able to do that. And so we want all around players. And I think on the other side of that, again, we don't want to put our guys in a box. Our guys don't want to be put in a box socially as well. And you're right. We got kids from all over. We got kids from Serbia, Spain, Lithuania. 2 kids from Lithuania. We have kids from Alabama, Memphis, all over. So have a diverse group of guys that have come together. And I think the neat thing about our guys is they understand that, again, they have a platform, and no matter how big or how small, that they can affect change, and that they're committed to trying to do so. And that's kind of what we're doing. And the best thing we're going to do is try to put them in position to be able to do that. With getting out into the community, one of the things about community is it shows that you care. Right. You got to get out into the city or to the local schools and show that you care, because it shows that you care about something other than yourself. And I think that's the next thing that we're going to do, is try to get out to the schools or Big Brothers organizations and partnership with them. And, I think, that's one of the things that we talked about. We got to start at the younger age. We got to get the kids while they're younger, and kind of break down some of those stereotypes that may exist. And, one of the things we want to continue to do is have a free basketball clinic. We've done that in the past, maybe centered around spring break, and where the kids can come in and it's completely free, and they can come in and we're going to take, 100 kids and come in and play the game of basketball, but then also, allow them to kind of come in and see kids from different part of town than they're from, and know that they got a common goal of loving the game of basketball and breaking down some of those barriers, so that's kind of what we're trying to do. It's kind of like when you donate to cancer or some other life-threatening disease, you don't expect to cure it the next day. It's going to take it's going to be a process. And so we understand that it's going to be a process, and all we do is kind of hope to plant the seed and affect 1 or 2 lives at a time and keep building from there. This is something that's been going on for a while, and it's nothing that we're going to change the world here tomorrow, but we hope to inspire enough change in our community to kind of help people see a different side of things.
And Kenneth, that's a great point, because we've had the pleasure now of knowing you for 5 or 6 years in the Creek, and you have 2 young boys who are starting elementary school and even moving closer to middle school now, which is crazy to think about. But just in these last 5 years or so, what has it been like from your standpoint of interacting with these players, especially as someone who started more on the operations side and now on the full-time coaching role, and being able to develop these young men over the course of, like we said, 5 to 6 years?
Yeah, I think that's key. I think, when we recruit these guys, we talk about, helping them to grow into being better men, young men. And, that's, basketball is easy, man. That's the easy part. Like that's, but if we're only focused on basketball, I think we're missing the mark. I think we're not doing our guys a due diligence if we're not being more than basketball coaches to them. So I think it's something that we take. Mentorship is something we take very seriously. We want to be a resource for these guys. We want to help these guys through whatever situations they may be going through. And I think it starts with trust. Once they decide to come and play here at Campbell, there's a certain amount of trust that has to happen in order for that to happen. And once they get here, they're not automatically going to trust you. We have to earn that trust as their coaches. And we want our locker room, we want anytime we're together to be a safe haven for these guys. Because I think a lot of times, in our world, that you're forced to have walls up wherever you go. And especially as a basketball player, like don't let them see any signs of weakness. Yeah. And, because your opponent can exploit that, right? So they do the same thing when they come to practice, whether they're a freshman or a senior. It's hard for our guys to be vulnerable, but we want them to be comfortable around us. And once they're comfortable around us, then, they're naturally going to open up more and they're going to be more vulnerable. And, we can kind of, break down, again, some of these barriers that may exist or stereotypes and stuff like that. But, it's up to us to make them comfortable. We want to be mentors to them. We want to help guide them, not tell them which to go, right or left, but at the same time, help them figure out, what's best for them.
And Kenneth, I'm glad not only you mentioned that, but the development process, because you have a leadership council now with Milo Stajcic and Ricky Clemens and Austin McCullough and Jordan Whitfield, a lot of older guys on this team. How valuable has it been to have those four kind of spearhead some of these efforts and really relate kind of as the intermediate between the players and then you guys when it comes to some of these initiatives?
No, I think it's huge. I think part of being on any team, you have to have good leadership, and they're able to kind of be the go-between between the rest of the guys and the coaching staff. Kind of being that buffer. So we bounce a lot of things off of them. We're going to be expecting a lot of them, not only on the court but off the court as well, to kind of help take us to another level from a leadership standpoint. But all those four guys have done an outstanding job of leading the effort so far in terms of getting everybody on our team registered to vote and, putting together the video that we did a little while ago. And we have a few more efforts that we're going to be doing here in the future. But no, those guys have been outstanding.
Kenneth, we really appreciate the time. And I know it's crazy because we're just waiting for basketball to start, but certainly it's nice to know these guys are taking even a bigger step just beyond the court, like you mentioned. It's good to get your perspective on these things.
No, I mean, it's something that, I hate that we're going through this as a society, but it's important that, we call attention to certain things. And I'm glad that you invited me on today to talk a little bit about what we're doing. And I think the most important thing is to also know that this is not a fad, or this is something that's going to be ongoing. This is something that we're going to be continue to work with our team, throughout the year and for years to come, in terms of maybe watching a video, watching a short clip of a movie, bringing in speakers to talk to our basketball program. So I think it's important for everybody to understand that this is an ongoing thing. And it's all about equality. It's not about division at all. It's all about bringing people together. I'm just so thankful to be a part of a great community here in Bowie's Creek at Campbell University. Coach McGeehan has been a godsend for us and our family in terms of, he's entrusted me with running a lot of the defense and things of that nature. But we've just enjoyed our time here thoroughly. A lot of great people here in this community, we got great support on game nights. And like I said, I'm just incredibly grateful to be here and be a part of the Campbell community.
We really appreciate the time, Kenneth, and we look forward to talking soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Evan.